Across the board.
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 You're listening to Across the Board. Buckle up, because things are about to get interesting.
So my fear, I have a fear that I'm going to do all this. I'm going to start recording a podcast, and an hour later, I'm going to figure out that I accidentally didn't press the right buttons. And all of it was wasted.
Did you press the right buttons?
I think so.
Okay.
I see you.
Do you see me?
I see you. You're recording. You see me. I'm hoping. If something goes wrong with my phone, somebody will let me know. I see an audio waveform on the computer, and I see a record button on the mixer. So I think we're good.
Okay.
Cool. We don't have a clicker, so we got to do a clap to sync up audio. Yeah, exactly. So, all right. How are we starting? Why don't you introduce?
I think that was a good start.
Okay, well then we could just call that a good start.
Well, welcome JP. We have JP on our podcast today. He is our resident theme park expert, our guru, knows all things Universal, Disney, and all other theme parks that you can think of. So thank you for joining us today. I know you have a very substantial following on social media, and we kind of wanted to pick your brain today and find out where you started and what your ultimate goal is. Just if you can just let us know, that'd be great.
That was the perfect audition reel. So I'm sending that to NBC and Fox.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. So no, but you're not wrong. You're our local resident celebrity.
I'm a nerd.
Aren't we all? I mean, that's why we're here. This is why. Yeah. This is literally why we're here. So YouTube, you're on everything, right?
Everything. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram.
Did you ever get to Threads?
It's so boring.
So
I've heard, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to even bother. There's too much stuff.
Well, the funny thing is like, because you post to Instagram and it's like also post to Threads, and I'm like, what's Threads? So I downloaded it. I never even opened it because I'm like, I don't know if I want to get into a whole nother different platform.
But I've heard like once you're on it, you can't get off or something. Or
I tried. The very first day I was posting like crazy.
Yeah.
I got like 20,000 followers on there.
Nice.
I think that's where the 20,000 was.
Teach me your ways.
But now Instagram has a way where you can automatically post to Threads. So if you're posting to Instagram, you don't have to worry about Threads. I don't even open the app. I don't care.
That's the thing is and maybe I should just do that just so that because if you're
I think they just started paying creators on Threads. So yeah, hop on it.
There's some money to be made there.
Opportunities.
Not that I'm making money anywhere else. Okay, so that's actually a curious question because I've heard from multiple different sources, and they're probably all bullshit because they're on the internet.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just say that YouTube is the best in terms of getting paid out.
Yeah, in terms of revenue, YouTube is the best source. I mean,
like I've heard
Instagram
by leaps and bounds, like it's a lot more.
Yeah.
Really?
Unless you're pulling like 1 million views per reel on Instagram,
Which most people aren't.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Last month I did like 17 million views on reels, and I only made like $200. So it's pennies.
Wow,
it's
that's
pennies.
crazy.
It?
Yeah, it's pretty
insane.
bad.
So you got to be like a
Wow.
Kim Kardashian to be able to pull in any real money.
Yeah, and now I think this month they're not even paying for reels; they're paying for Instagram posts.
Wow.
Just
So
making you jump
what
from
is
one
the
foot to the next.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
I mean, even if you're like Kardashian status, I don't even think.
It's
It's
still,
not worth it.
It's not worth the effort. Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely changed how I post on Instagram though. So I didn't really care about posts. I mostly cared about reels because that's what they were paying me for.
Right.
But now I changed my entire style on Instagram. I don't know if you've noticed, but I go with like a black backdrop, some clickbaity title.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like more
image,
captions,
swipe,
something
swipe
that
to
grabs
view
your
info.
attention right away.
Yeah.
Is what I've been noticing. Yeah, for sure.
That's
did
what
not
pulls
know,
views now. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
It's a lot of experimenting. Like it looks super inconsistent on the other end, but it works. It works.
Well, and I think that's the funny thing too, is like one thing doesn't work for every platform. Like I've noticed, like I'll get a video on TikTok that I'll get, I don't know, 20, 30,000 views. And then on Instagram, it's like 1,200. And I'm like, what just happened? Like this should be the same thing. It should be similar. So every platform's definitely different. How did you I've always wondered this because so for me at least, I typically just fall into something. when you started, what did you have like this vision that, hey, I'm going to start posting, I'm going to create a channel, or were you just like, let me see what happens?
I'm going to be honest. I didn't even mean to start a YouTube channel. It just kind of became its own thing. My dad worked at Universal. And I wanted to do the same thing. He had a lot of pictures and videos, and I wanted to show it to my kids. And YouTube is always up. So I decided to post like random stuff to YouTube, whether it be like a Minecraft video or just going to Universal. And like I had the worst videos ever. I had like it wasn't even a GoPro. It was called SJ Cam. It was
it's like it's the knockoff.
Knockoff GoPro. I was walking around the park, super shaky. Yeah, and that's what I did. And around the time they closed the Jurassic Park ride, I was talking a little bit about the Jurassic Park ride, and it started turning into a YouTube channel. I started getting noticed in the theme park. And that turned into its own entity from there.
That's the funny thing is because me personally, like anything that I've ever done that ended up being anything was just like on pure accident. Like it's like I didn't mean to do this. I just did something and it turned into something else. You know, it's like, and it's funny because I've heard people say this a lot, where it's like, well, you can't. If you go into something just to try to make money out of it, like it's never going to succeed. Like you got to do it because you want to do it. You know, so. Yeah, that's proof right there.
I don't know if the video caught it, but I mean, I was asking, why did you want to start a podcast? And you're like, well, I like talking.
I like talking. Like literally, that's it. Like
talking is not an easy skill.
Okay, so
this
is the funny part though, is when we met, dude, I was so shy. Like we met her friends and I was like, hello. And I sat there for maybe an hour. Like the first time I met her friends.
Now I can't shut him up.
I don't shut up now. And if you get me on a topic that I'm genuinely interested in, or if you get me into something that I know a lot about, I've literally caught myself.
We're stuck here all night.
I've caught myself having to stop myself from talking because I'm like, okay,
we should set an alarm.
Right?
Well, I typically, this is why I usually have that screen open, is because sometimes I'll pay attention to how many minutes have elapsed. And I'm like, okay, well, if we're going on an hour, we should probably cut it short because nobody wants to listen to me for that long.
Because you can keep going. For sure.
I'm proof of that. Yeah. Especially if I have some caffeine, which I just did. So now everybody's in trouble.
Funny.
You're over 1 million on YouTube?
Yeah.
That's goals.
How does that work? Is there like a certain threshold that you have to meet before you get paid? Like how many? Because I think on TikTok it's like 10,000 followers or something, and they start paying you for every like watch. I think, right?
Yeah, every like
1,000 view.
Every 1,000 views you get on TikTok. If it's a video over a minute long, they'll pay you like $1.
Gotcha. How does that work on because you have, I think, the largest following on YouTube currently. How does that work with YouTube? How often do they pay you? How many followers you need to have before they pay you? You know, just any info.
So YouTube is a little inconsistent. Sometimes it's every month, sometimes it's every other month based on how much money you make. If it's on the lower end, like under $1,000, they would kind of hold that money in and they would pay you a month after that. But if you're making over $1,000, like 2-3,
then they'll just pay you that
just
month.
Give you that month.
Okay.
Luckily, I've been.
Luckily, knock on wood.
But that's the funny thing too, is I've looked into all this stuff like years ago, and it's probably changed by now. But like it's depending on your genre too. Like if you're putting out videos that are like in a super what's the word?
Niche.
Saturated, and if you're in a super saturated like category,
something,
then your views aren't gonna get you as much per 1,000 views.
Yeah,
or whatever
that's true. Like, imagine, okay, so I'm talking about Universal, and then I make a random video walking up to random people in Santa Monica. And let's say that video hits, I don't know, 40,000 views. Normally, I would get paid, let's say $10 every 1,000 views on YouTube on a long form video. They would take that $10, and since it's out of your niche, they would make it like $4.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So it depends on, there's a lot that goes into it. Like it's funny because even people that have been posting to YouTube for 2 decades, I don't know how long you've been. You've probably been like 10 years now.
It's
close.
I think this year would be 11. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Something like that.
So people that have been posting since like YouTube first started getting popular.
You've been doing this for half your life.
Well,
What am I
Yeah.
missing out on?
that
I went to a saddle ranch last night. We walked in. It was a bunch of shirtless dudes in a conga line. I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with
Yeah.
what I'm doing.
No,
Yeah.
I agree. I think you're doing good.
Yeah, that was so weird. Straight up.
yeah, that is. I think if I walked into that, I think I'd be like, yeah, we're going across the street.
Right.
It's not-
I don't think we even lasted a second in there.
No,
I don't blame you.
No,
But
I-
it was the saddle ranch in WeHo.
So on Sunset, right?
Yeah, right across dough
Yep.
bricks. We went for dough bricks, but we wanted to do the mechanical bull.
They still have that. We used to go. I used to go there a lot when I was in my 20s too. So it used to be fun. We didn't really see any shirtless guys like walking around like that, but maybe things have
No,
changed
it's
now.
a bunch of F boys from like
No.
what is it, UCLA down the street.
well,
Yeah.
Fake TikTokers.
Yep.
that place has been around for so long that it had to go through ups and downs. Like,
Yeah.
because when we were younger, that was like the happening.
It
place.
was like the place you couldn't even find anywhere to sit. It was that packed and busy.
It was pretty busy in there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were
Maybe
people
it's starting
smoking
back
in the
up.
restaurant too.
Like inside.
Inside, yeah.
Interesting.
That's probably why it's so popular. People just
I didn't
they
even know
just
that
let you
that
do
was
whatever
like
you
even
want.
allowed in LA.
They probably just let you
Felt
do
like
whatever you want.
the Mamas and Papas. What is that place called in Mexico? Papas and Beer.
Papa's and beer.
Papas and Beer of Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Interesting.
yeah.
Other
No,
people know it as Senor Frog.
Yeah.
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 one of
Yeah,
the
we've
two.
been there.
no, that's that place has been around forever. I don't think it's going anywhere. I don't think it can. I think it's just like so
There used to be
ingrained.
one. I don't know if you've ever seen it or you remember. It's been a while since they took it down, but there used to be one at Universal.
Yeah,
There-
you're right.
there was
right
one-
City
in
Walk,
the-
right?
Right before the entrance
Right
of
by the-
Universal, there used to be a saddle ranch, and I think we didn't really frequent that one, but it was a lot smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't even remember. Maybe they got rid of it like 10 years ago or something like that. But
Oh, it's not there anymore.
it's not
No,
there anymore.
it's-
No,
it's just all
like
grass.
yeah.
There's
It's
nothing
I
there
think
anymore.
I think it was that place where you like when you walk into like security.
Yeah, it's
like
right
kind
by
of like that
security.
area with all the like the bars and the
yeah,
gates are.
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I haven't been to Saddle Ranch in years, but one thing that I remember is just like the really tall cotton candy that they would give you.
Yeah, I think it was a
Where's that?
drink too, wasn't
Was
it,
a
or
drink?
something?
I wasn't old enough to drink.
They still have that, and you're not. Now you are.
Now I am, yeah.
Barely.
Modelo's right before I came into
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I wish I was that age. man. I'm.
No, it's overrated. I went to Disneyland for my 21st birthday.
That's the right
$60
thing to
on
do.
drinks, by the way.
I know.
I don't know if that was too loud. $60 on drinks. I only bought 3 drinks. It's
They're
like $20.
I mean, it's
a drink.
expensive.
Well, and the thing that irritated me about trying to drink at Disneyland was like that because that one bar.
We went to
right?
that bar at
That-
the
at
Star
Star
Wars
Wars.
Land?
Yeah, there's something Olga's Cantina or
Oga's
something like
Cantina.
that. Yeah.
But like, you can't drink what you want to drink.
Yeah.
You drink what they give you.
It's
Essentially,
literally all
because-
like sugary.
yeah.
Oh, it was the
Fizzy
worst.
stuff.
But one thing I tried that was really good. It was called the Fuzzy Tauntaun.
Didn't you get that?
I think
one?
that's the one that we got.
Yeah, it comes with foam on.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
that's
Eat
one they
the
got.
foam before
yeah.
drinking the drink, and the foam it just numbs your mouth.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
It's
yes.
the weirdest sensation ever. I don't know if I liked it or didn't like it.
It was
but
different for
Drinking
sure.
the drink after it was the weirdest taste ever, but
Yeah.
it was satisfying in its own. way.
Yeah.
So it wasn't terrible. It's just like I would have been.
Just give me like
I don't
a
like
vodka
sugary
soda or
drinks. I don't like
something, you know,
anything
like-
sweet. So I'm just like, yeah, just give me something
Yeah.
straight up, you know. But
Yeah.
they're like, nope, we can't.
But there
Everything's
is-
For
pre-mixed.
hard liquor.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but there is a bar in California Adventure. I think it's like near Mermaid's Grotto or something like that.
Yeah, Lamplight Lounge.
There you go. Yeah. So there's like it's like a restaurant and actual
They have
bar
better liquor, but again,
Where-
a
yeah.
lot of sugary stuff.
where you can.
She's trying to make her case for me going to
I keep telling
California
him I want to go to
Adventure.
California Adventures, but
No, when
like
you guys go, let's go.
I'm down.
I just
I have
yeah.
the pass there.
But JP, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure have noticed this after COVID, especially for such a theme park enthusiast. The crowds are insane. I don't ever remember it getting that busy or that crazy. I mean, even the prices have just skyrocketed. And it's like, I love it, but do I really want to spend $400 on a day at Disneyland? You know, like, is it worth it?
You're
Plus-
cheaping out for $300-400.
I am, and I love Disney. I am, but it's like,
Because if you want to eat, you're spending more than $300 or $400.
don't be rude. What are you trying to say?
I'm just saying that the food at Disneyland is extremely expensive. Like, it's stupid. Like $5 for
it
a water
is.
bottle, $12 for a churro.
It is.
Come on.
It is. But I don't know. I can't not go, you know?
Yeah.
But you have the pass, right?
Yeah. And I think that's the hook they have on everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And after COVID, they just came up with this insane strategy. They're like, what if we take restaurant reservations and put it into a theme park?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Make it always seem like it's on demand.
Yep.
That's
always booked.
No matter the time of year, January, February.
Yep.
Who cares? It's always going to be busy at Disney now.
We were having this conversation, I think it was like 3-4 days ago. I was literally saying, I was like, this is exactly what they did. They created this illusion that it's so busy that you need to make a reservation that everybody wants to go now.
Mm-hmm.
And now as a pass holder, I would like to go like around 5 o'clock, just go for like an hour or two.
That's what I
Just like a random
Now
day.
you actually have to plan your visits. And
you can't just go on a whim anymore.
Yeah, and it sucks because now you're obligated to buy food because you want to spend time in the park.
Exactly.
Well, and that's the thing is like a pass would make a lot more sense if you could just be like, hey, we have nothing going on tonight. Let's just go over there for a couple of hours. You know, like I would do that. But if you're just going to be, you got to plan this out weeks in advance. It's like it takes the fun out of it.
Yeah,
I like the spontaneity of just being able to do something on a whim.
Yeah.
So I think that's a bad thing for us consumers, but
It's working
I
for
think
them.
it's a good thing for their competition because now a lot of people hate, but they love Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now Universal is like, you know what? We're going to screw over Disney. They came up with this new theme park called Epic Universe. I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
No, what's
but
about?
It's Universal Orlando's 5th theme park.
Okay.
And it's this ginormous theme park with like 5 or 6 lands that's opening
nice.
in May of this year. And it just knocks Disney out of the park. They have like a Harry Potter world.
Oh, wow.
They have Universal Monsters Land.
Fun.
Nintendo World.
Disney's not going to be happy about this.
No, and it's just insane because they've shown images of their animatronics and how advanced their rides are, and it's not like a normal theme park. They have like both roller coasters and like dark rides. And I think Disney is just shitting bricks right now.
Probably.
Where's this opening?
It's in Orlando.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have the space out there for that, for
So
sure.
they're capitalizing.
They have how many parks out there now?
5. That would be the 5th one.
Universal has 4 parks there currently.
Yeah, Volcano Bay, Islands of Adventure.
Wow.
Universal's. That would be 4.
You know, I've been to Orlando, I think 3 or 4 times. I have not once gone to Universal there.
Oh my god!
I just haven't had the time or the chance to. I know
it's so much better than Disney World. It's so fun,
and I love roller coasters, so I think that might be also more my speed too. But I think Disney is just so nostalgic, right? You feel like a kid when you're there, but with everything else kind of going on.
They've made it so inconvenient that they've taken the magic out of it, I feel.
I agree.
But then again, that's my personal opinion, so don't come at me, Disney.
I agree. I mean, as someone who loves anything Disney.
But you see what I'm saying, though? It's like when it becomes inconvenient, then it's like all of a sudden now it's like, well, I got to stand in line for an hour just to go through a security checkpoint. Like,
and I got to pay $40 for
you're
parking.
already frustrated by the time you get to the park, you know?
Yeah. The lines for security, and then you have to get on the tram. That's easy, all there.
And then you get Genie Pass, and you can't even book for all the rides that you want. So we went during Halloween time last year. In September, I think we went.
I don't remember.
And we didn't. So we had the Genie Pass. We didn't know that there was like a queue for Haunted Mansion. So
that's right.
Virtual line.
Yeah, and we couldn't book it on the app. So we're like, we'll just go there. So we go there, and they're like, oh, there's a queue. So we put our name in the queue, and we waited. And it was like I think 12:30 in the afternoon when we put our name down.
Yeah.
We got home at 11 p.m. that night, and as we got home, we got called to go to the queue. It took almost 12 hours for it to be our turn to go on.
Yeah, and usually we'll just go and we'll stand in line and wait.
Like that is the most ridiculous
the hour or whatever
thing.
It's going to take to wait it. But it's like, why? If you're going to change it, also here's the thing: is if you're going to change something like that, if you're going to say, hey, now you have to put your name down in a virtual line or a virtual queue, why not? When you're buying your tickets, send out an email and say, hey, by the way, we've changed this. So you may want to go and, as soon as you get there, go and put your names down.
Yeah.
Like it sucks because we didn't know.
So question for you, JP. For someone who's so well versed in theme parks and knows a lot, obviously there's places like, the whole Disney franchise, and then there's the Universal franchise, but then there's other parks in California like Knott's Berry Farm and Six Flags, which clearly don't do as well as those other parks. Why do you think that is? What do you think they can do to kind of bring back that? Because when I was younger, we would go to Six Flags a lot and it was always so busy. But I've realized as I've gotten older, the crowd has just kind of dissipated and there's not that many people that go anymore.
That's true.
Why do you think that is?
Yeah, like Six Flags, for example. I mean, it's gotten so bad at Six Flags where they're only operating Thursday through Mondays.
Wow.
Wow.
They're not operating daily anymore.
That sucks.
That's actually a really good question, and I was trying to figure this out myself because even Universal, in the off-peak season, they have really empty days like Monday through Thursday. It's just so empty in the park, and I'm honestly not sure what they could do to fix that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what Disney is doing to always be busy like that. Like, how are people always interested in riding a ride that's been there for 40 years plus?
Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe because Disney keeps it fresh with new movies all the time, but then that, like you're saying, some of these rides are so old that
but maybe
I think it's
also,
just the widespread of things you could do at Disneyland.
Yeah.
They're open late.
Yeah.
I mean, the food is good.
They're clean.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's pretty clean.
Yeah.
But Six Flags specifically, I think I have a pretty negative image of Six Flags. Just the people that attend the park, the things that happen in the park,
Right.
the rides always break down.
So-
When you go, it's not a consistent amount of rides that are open.
we were talking about this, and I think one of the things that are driving people away is like you hear about like roller coasters getting stuck and people, or like, even in other countries where they completely fall apart and people get hurt and die, whatever. Obviously that scares people, and they're like, well, I don't want to go on a roller coaster that goes upside down 3 times, because if it gets stuck, then I'm going to be stuck hanging upside down for 4 hours. Remember that happened on, I can't remember which ride that was. It was a while ago though, but
Yeah.
there were people that were stuck upside down on a roller coaster for hours on end until the fire department got up there and actually had to like yank them out of there. But it's like,
Jeez.
so I think people just get scared that, hey, maybe these things aren't maintained, and then it's like the snowball effect where as the park is getting less and less traffic, people are getting more and more worried about the maintenance, because they're like, well, they're not really making money, so are they
Even
even
now, I
maintaining
think
the
to
ride?
go to Six Flags, it's like $40 to go.
It's like pretty cheap.
It's
Let's
really,
go.
really cheap.
compared to
I
to
think
any
that's
other
how much
park?
it was when I used to go back in my 20s. So I don't
Well,
think the prices changed.
No,
much.
back then you would take a can of Coke and it was like
Yeah,
$12.
or like you would go to like a fast food place and they give you like a coupon or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
And get in for really cheap. Have you been to the Fright Fest there? How's that?
Oh, I actually worked it.
Oh, nice.
I worked it for 2 nights, and I left because it was so empty.
Really?
Yeah, I was sitting in my they call it a boo hole. That sounds so wrong out of context. I was sitting in there for like 20 minutes. I'm like, well, no one's walking through our haunted house. This is so boring.
That sucks.
But
I
they do have busy nights for sure.
Yeah.
I do feel bad for for things like that, where it's like, they used to be in their heyday, they were just they're popular or whatever, and now it's like dying off. It's kind of like, it sucks seeing that progression of failure.
I think another thing is they're just so far
Yeah.
from.
They're a little out of the way.
I mean, LA is always busy. Universal has that advantage.
Yeah.
Disney has that. I mean, Anaheim is a little out of the way, but they have a big community,
Right.
Or
Yeah.
Orange County, and so I think it's just because it's so far. And Knott's Berry Farm, I mean, it's pretty dead on weekdays, but they're pretty busy on weekends, like enough for the park to survive
Gotcha.
on those rainy days. So,
No,
and they do such a good job in the seasonal.
Yeah. I've
during
heard.
like Halloween and Christmas, like they do.
How's
so
their Halloween haunt
Oh my
thing?
gosh.
It's good?
Yeah, it's so scary. I think Knott's Scary Farm is the only Halloween event that actually scares me, because
We
they
have to go
Really?
this year. I really wanted to go. We usually just go to Universal, but
Yeah.
I've realized that Universal doesn't really scare me anymore.
yeah, and it's if you go through every haunted house, they're all just kind of the same. They
Literally.
jump
Yeah.
out, there's strobe
Uh-huh.
lights, and they go back
Yeah,
in.
all the same kind of like.
and then you could see
yeah.
them like from a mile
Exactly.
away.
Yeah, exactly.
And what we've noticed, because we go almost every year, is they pack so many people into the house that you don't have any time to get startled, because you already see
Yeah, you
the
see
person
where
in
they're
front of you
popping
getting
out of.
scared
Yeah,
already,
exactly.
right? So you don't have that like time where you're like alone or with like 2-3 other people to actually get scared. So it's like, I feel like it's just such a waste of time. Like, we're going there to get scared, but it's not working.
Well,
you're packing so many people in there.
But it's gotten predictable. Like,
Yeah.
you know when you're about to go around a corner, you're like, okay, for sure there's a dude right here to the left. There's going to be somebody else right there to the right. It's gotten predictable. They need to change it up a little bit.
A lot of people were complaining about Horror Nights this past year.
What were they
just
saying?
Because of how they were packing people in the
Yep.
haunted houses. Not only that, but they have like maze hosts inside. People in like orange shirts saying, "Oh, keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving." That's kind of obnoxious.
Yeah, it is. It kind of like takes away from
the whole
vibe.
experience.
Yeah.
I remember I was in the Quiet Place haunted house. I was filming, and the maze host was like, "Keep it moving." I'm like, I hushed her. I'm like, that kills the purpose of the haunted house.
Seriously.
It's quiet.
Yeah. No, it's.
Because I remember going, like, a long time ago. Because I've been going there for a while, and actually getting scared. And now it's just become this like predictable, like you said, predictable.
It's
They're
so
just packing-
corporate.
Yeah.
It's too corporate.
And everything is so spread out. And we just get the fast pass kind of thing, which
Yeah.
is also like
That's the way to do it.
$300.
Yeah.
It is insanely expensive, but you can't go without waiting 100 minutes for something or more. I think it was the weekends maze or whatever, the house, and it was like a 300-minute wait one of the nights. And I'm so happy we had that pass because there's no way I would have waited in line for anything for that long.
So I think it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like, yeah, they're getting popular. Yeah, they're attracting the crowds. But I feel like all of a sudden they're like, hey, our numbers are looking good. Let's pack more people in. We'll get better numbers. It's like, well, no, but the
quality of it's diminishing.
But that's the thing,
right?
is like, if you start packing people in too much, then next year people are going to say, well, I don't want to go to this.
Not to go this year.
Yeah.
Although, I'm curious, but I'm like, it's kind of been the same thing for the past couple of years where it hasn't been that great. So I'm like, maybe I'll try Knott's.
Well, I saw something at Horror Nights this year that I've never seen before. They weren't selling out.
Oh, interesting.
In September, it was a ghost town.
Wow.
For like 3 weeks straight. There was no one in the park. And I don't know if that had to do with the heat. I don't know if that had to do with the interest, but it was just dead.
So, I mean, who knows? But I do feel like that kind of plays a role in it, because when things get too crowded, people just kind of skip it because they're like, hey, what's the point if I'm going to go and I got to... Because here's the thing. Not everybody can afford their, front of the line passes. And if you want to go and you want to spend, you're going to spend $100 and whatever for a regular pass, but you can't go on anything because it takes 3 hours of a line for anything, then what's the point of going? Yeah.
As a pass holder, I mean, with both theme parks and Horror Nights, like, I've noticed ways to do things. Like, okay, the last like 2 hours of Horror Nights, everyone's already leaving.
Yep.
So let me take advantage of people leaving, go down to the lower lot, do all the haunted houses. And that's usually what me and my friends would do. We would go downstairs. The last hour, we would just do things over and over and over. And, no lines at all.
But my point is like, you have people that maybe they're here on vacation or something. They're like, hey, while we're here, we're going to hit up Horror Nights. But if they're going to spend $300 and not be able to do anything, then it's like, well, I'm just not going to recommend this to anybody else.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think when we went, the park, we had gone like the pre-entry kind of thing where like they would let you in like half an hour early or something. Yeah. So entry was supposed to be at 6:30. We got there, it was like 6:15. So there was like a horde of people who had gotten the same thing, who were trying to get in, but they didn't let anyone in until 7.
Oh my God.
And then they just let in everyone at 7. Right? So what was the point of me paying extra to be able to get in there half an hour early,
Yeah.
And like they just weren't letting anyone through. Damn. And it was like a huge crowd of people just stuck together.
No.
Like you said earlier, things are getting a little too corporate. Everybody's so worried about like making money and whatever. It's like, dude, like at a certain point, especially if you're going to run a theme park, my personal opinion, if you're going to run a theme park, like it's all about the magic of the theme park. It's like you're trying to get people in this experience. Well, stop worrying so much about pinching every little penny. Maybe not make as much money, but let people have fun doing it. So, but what do I know? I don't fucking run a theme park.
So I'm gonna assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, that Universal is probably your favorite out of all of them, out of the parks.
I actually, this is gonna surprise a lot of people. Knott's Berry Farm is my favorite.
Interesting.
I love Knott's Berry Farm. Their food is amazing. It's so like chill on the weekdays. I bought a pass there just because of how much I love Knott's Scary Farm. But I went in the daytime the other day and I'm like, wow, this is like so chill. They have characters. They have cowboys walking around. Food is good. I just love hearing like the banjo music as you're walking around. It's just a nice spot to chill.
Nice.
I've never been, but I have a feeling that clip is going to get so much hate.
You've never been to Knott's Berry Farm?
I have not.
Oh my goodness.
I have not. What occasion would I have to go to Knott's Berry Farm?
I mean, pure curiosity. I don't know.
I'm not a theme park person. I only go to theme parks because of you.
He's absolutely not a theme park person. He doesn't like rides. And I'm like totally the opposite.
If I could never go to Disneyland,
don't say it
ever again.
Don't say it. Okay.
I'm just saying. I don't care. I don't care what people think of that. I don't enjoy it. To me, it's just stress on stress on stress.
You know what? I'm going to give you stress on stress.
It's just the standing in line for rides and then standing in more lines for other rides. And then like the thing that pisses me off is like some of these rides that don't have lightning lane or whatever they're calling Genie. I don't know what they're calling it these days. They keep changing it and charging more. That's one of the things that pisses me off. But like if I'm going to go stand in a line for 45 minutes for a ride that lasts 2.5, like what's the point?
You don't seem to mind Buzz Lightyear. I think it's a shoot at things. That's why.
I don't enjoy the fact that I got to stand in line for again, that standing in line, the wait to the ride ratio is not right. Like I shouldn't have to wait 20 times longer than the ride is just to get on it.
Yeah.
So another question for you, JP. You obviously, again, you have a lot of followers on social media. How do you handle people who are negative towards you or who don't like your content or say something negative?
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Good answer.
I think it's the funniest thing ever. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you think that's clickbait? All right, fine. Yeah. Well, you still commented. Thanks for engaging.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm getting the view, so it doesn't really matter.
The funny thing is like I've gotten negative comments on videos on TikTok, and I'm like, well, thanks for the engagement.
Talk about it with your friends. Talk about it with your friends. Have them watch my video. Hate together. You know, you're still giving me money.
No, and the thing that the thing that's funny is like people get all into their head about like, oh, somebody left a rude comment. Like, dude, there's gonna be haters no matter what. There's always haters.
And all of that is just out of jealousy.
Yeah.
Unless you're like, I mean, there's people that make videos that are just genuinely stupid.
Yeah. But it's like, but even then, it's like, well, if that's what that person believes, like, let them believe it. Why do you care so much? You know, like just some random person that lives in freaking, I don't know, freaking Ohio that doesn't like your haircut. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. No, but that's I've heard multiple times for anybody that has any decent amount of popularity is like, just don't even read the comments. Like, just who cares?
But I think you can't help it. Like,
yeah, but don't let it get
if they do, I always reply with a LOL.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I like messing with them. Like,
yeah.
I'm trying to.
It's kind of like
I'm trying to drive a reaction because I enjoy that drama.
Or like to have them come back. You know.
I like to do the face with the hearts around it because I'm like, yeah, thanks. Like, you know, like, so it's funny because there was on TikTok for a while. And there were multiple videos like this where it would be like somebody had posted like a video, and it was clearly like Chinese or whatever. And it was so every comment that would be posted on that video, the guy would just reply with the face with the hearts around it, and like because everybody figured out that this person doesn't really know how to speak English, so that's just how they reply. Good. So that's what I've started doing to people that like will leave hate comments. I just leave like the face with the hearts.
Speaking of comments, you know what I love the most right now? Just reading through Instagram comments under Reels. Because people just say anything.
I've heard
everything.
I've heard.
Like on advertisements, if you're a business and you're trying to advertise, don't even try anymore. Because you're going to get a million comments saying, nice try, Diddy.
I've seen that like all over the place. And I'm like, I don't really, okay.
This is the funniest thing ever.
What is the point of that? But okay.
Well, and then you got to wonder is this some kind of like a campaign to try to kill Instagram Reels, like by maybe TikTok or something? You know what I mean? You never know.
I mean, I think Instagram got the idea from TikTok to have Reels.
Oh yeah,
because it's just a posting place where you just post photos.
I think it all started with Vine.
From the beginning, yeah. But Vine never got to be as big as TikTok.
I'm sad they shut it down. Yeah, it was so iconic.
Vine was the start. Vine was a precursor for sure.
I wish I was in my mid-20s when Vine was around, because then I would have capitalized.
You can trade spots if you'd like.
Yeah, if I could go back in time.
Yeah, if you go back though, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think is next, though? What do you think? Do you think TikTok will actually get banned?
Nah.
I think the fact is that
I could see it being sold, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I think that it's too big. I don't think they could just ban it. Like I feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like they're at a certain point, government has to start listening to the people, and people are like they were pissed, like when this whole. What was it? 12 hours.
They were banning it. Why? Just because it was owned by a Chinese company. I mean, who cares? They're gonna get all this information, and what are they gonna do? Make products based on what we're interested in?
But that's the thing is we were talking about too. Like we talked about this on I think it was like episode 1 or something. I'm like,
majority of the products that we have here are already made.
Yeah, if it's
in China, like
But like, where's the security risk? Like, people are posting pictures of them falling down the stairs or pictures of their like videos of their dogs. Like, how is that security? Like, how is that a security issue? I don't know.
I don't think it's a security issue. I think
it's that TikTok collects data. So if it's downloaded on your phone, I mean, it'll look at your.
Our phones are from China.
It'll look at
that's the thing. That's manufactured in China.
Might as well have done it before.
Like, yeah, I think it's just like it looks at your Google searches and it knows what to recommend for you to watch. And I think the US looks at it in a negative aspect. Let's say someone is mentally unstable. Let's say they're seeking for help. TikTok has a crazy algorithm. Like, let's say you're sad and let's say you're watching sad. They're going to feed you more sad videos because it doesn't look at it as a sad video. It looks at it as, oh, you're interested in this topic. So they're going to keep pushing towards that topic. But any platform is the same way.
Yeah.
That's what
Instagram, if you're, I mean, it's so easy to
you literally watch
adapt.
one video and it's all the same thing. That.
Well, that's what I was going to say is I feel like every other platform does the same thing. Maybe it's because they're mostly owned by American companies or their data servers are in America. I don't know, but I don't think it's that hard because I think TikTok even offered to say, hey, listen, we'll have all our data hosted in the United States. Like there won't be an issue with data.
But the U.S. only wanted them to sell to U.S.
I think maybe it's just a money grab.
Huh.
Maybe they see that there's so much money to be made and they're like, no, China shouldn't be making the money.
Yeah.
We should. I don't know.
Fair. Yeah. Another thing is, I mean, TikTok is like one of the more intellectual apps compared to Instagram Reels. It's just a bunch of shit posts. Like same with YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
People just post stupid stuff.
There's a lot that you can learn on TikTok if you actually are looking for that kind of stuff.
Right now I'm rebuilding my room and I learned how to do drywall and how to build like frames all through TikTok.
Well, and it's not just that. It's like if, you know, so I follow a lot of like, whether it's construction stuff or like, not follow, but I get a lot of it because I like it. A lot of stuff about like automotive repair and stuff like that too. It's like there's so many little like tips and tricks and stuff that you'll pick up just by scrolling on TikTok. And it's like, well, you're learning something at least. Yeah. Instagram, I don't really scroll because I can't get into it. Because it's all over the place, and I don't think it's like most of it's just like funny videos of people falling and shit.
But it's like I'll get like out of like 10 videos, I'll like one of them. It's not really catered, I think, to you specifically. But the weird thing is like when you watch one video, you'll get things that are similar in like the preview section, but then you don't really want to watch those because you're not interested in them. Stop showing me this crap, you know? Like
maybe their algorithms are just not as good. Maybe that's the whole grab for TikTok is they just have a really good algorithm.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know.
Maybe. I know.
YouTube's also kind of weird with their algorithm because the thing is they're pretty decent, but then every so often you're like, why would you show me this video? Because it has nothing to do with anything I want. But they've been around for so long that you would think that they would have it right. Because YouTube started in what, like 2000?
I don't remember.
2003 or something.
Yeah, they've been around forever.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is like I've always wanted to. That's the funny thing is I've always wished to be like YouTube famous, but I never record myself or upload anything. So I'm like,
here you are.
Well, you know, you get older and you stop caring about it.
You think a crap about anything.
Such a weird platform.
Well,
it's like there's certain things that work for a lot of people and it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Well, so that's what I was going to say too, is like it, depending on what you're doing, it changes often. From what I've heard, like the algorithms will just like one day, just like there'll be an update and now all of a sudden everything you've been doing has no longer works. Which is kind of a scary thought because if all your eggs are in that basket, it's like all of a sudden now you're starting from scratch and you can't really depend on that income as an actual income, you know?
How often do you record for YouTube?
I try to go to the park at least like once a week
to record.
but I think I need to increase that. Like,
but you go to the parks more often than once a week, or you
I
go once a
I
week?
think I just go to Universal like at least once a week just so I can get my update for the week, because I do a lot of like Universal updates.
Yeah.
They're building the Fast and Furious ride right now.
Do you think that, obviously, and I'm guilty of this too, is whenever I go somewhere, I always have my phone out so I can record and take photos of everything.
Yeah.
Do you ever find yourself kind of not enjoying the moment because you're on your phone the entire time?
Honestly, I mean, I used to really, really enjoy Universal, and I still do if I go with like friends and stuff. But going alone is so boring.
Really?
Even Disney, like it's so boring. I couldn't imagine. I mean, I've done it once, but I couldn't imagine going to Disney and just sitting there waiting in line alone.
Yeah.
But it's also like for you, it's work though. Like when you're going there
Yeah,
by
more or
yourself,
less.
it's work.
Yeah.
So it's not.
Yeah.
I mean,
I hate saying it, but
Yeah.
At
the end of the day, that's kind of what it is. Like if you're going with your friends, you're going with your friends. You're not there to work. You're there to have fun. But
Yeah, because if you're there with your friends, you can do your work and still enjoy the moment.
But I still do enjoy it. Like sometimes I sit there, I'm like recording a clip, but I can like a podcast. I could go on and talk about a certain topic depending on my mood.
Yeah. Do you think you'll ever expand into going to? I know you've done like videos in Florida and things like that. Expanding to other states that have theme parks. Are you interested in possibly doing that in the future?
Yeah, so I'm going to France soon.
Very nice.
I want to film.
I think
little
June, if I'm not mistaken. I think in the summer sometime,
like
right?
April.
Okay.
April.
Oh, that's so
17,
exciting.
Yeah.
And are you going to the Disney there?
I hope so.
I hope so too. I want to see all that stuff. Tell me.
But no, what I definitely want to do in the future is visit like Italy or like the Netherlands, because they have all these weird theme parks.
like very specific. Like,
and they're all inspired off of Disney attractions,
Interesting.
but in their own way.
Yeah.
And I really want to go to those little parks and just check it out.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, we just need an airline to sponsor you so we can get around and you are good.
Or a private jet,
Speaking of airlines, have you seen all these airplane crashes?
It's really weird. It's really weird.
What's going on?
I don't.
First we had the drones.
Right.
So the weird
Like one thing after the next. There's always something that comes up that's
no, but like
weird.
the airline stuff is kind of weird because it's like, how do you get a plane that, like this last one, the Delta, you get a plane that lands somehow, I guess it landed too hard or whatever, ends up rolling, snaps both of its wings off, ends up upside down. Thankfully, nobody died, but I'm like, how did that even happen?
You know what it is? Everyone that cheated on their homework during COVID, all of that ChatGPT, all of the Snapchat AI that people
Now they're working.
Yeah,
Now they're doing
again.
aircraft maintenance.
I'm so worried for the presidents and like healthcare workers and like people that do community service in the future,
Yeah.
because everyone cheated during COVID.
No, you're right. And it's probably just going to get worse. That's the crazy thing, because like I've literally seen videos of people that are doing Zoom interviews with ChatGPT open on the side.
That didn't even cross
I've
my
seen
mind
that,
until you
yeah.
said it. Honestly, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
We're
Like-
screwed. We're screwed.
How many people are not getting an
We're
education?
gonna need China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like,
Well, and that's the thing is like how many people are not, they're getting their grades because they're turning in work, but they didn't do the work. So they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're just,
what's the point?
no, but, yeah, the plane crash, like I wouldn't want to go on a plane right now.
I'm going to France soon. I don't know if
You'll
I'll
be
do
fine.
it.
My brother's going to Italy in a couple weeks.
I'm going to Canada in a month, so don't.
We're probably going to Canada in a month. But like that's the thing is like you can't stop it. I mean, realistically too though, here's the other thing I got to wonder. I'm like, I don't think it's the frequency I don't think is any worse than it usually is. I think it's just like the way that these things are crashing is worse. Like,
And I think
weird.
we're more exposed to it now too.
Well, everything's on.
news
Yeah.
and- yeah, everything's online, so
Yeah.
we see it more often.
I mean, yeah, like the Spanish flu in, what was it, 2007 or whatever. We didn't shut down the entire world.
No.
for that.
Well, apparently there's another. So the person that I guess it was
Another one.
the
There's
person.
bird flu, right?
No,
No,
there's
there's
a
another
new
one.
there's a new coronavirus in China that has that's basically very similar to COVID and has the potential to be the next pandemic.
Yep.
And it was somehow discovered by the same person that discovered the last one.
Surprise, 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 surprise.
So everybody, and the funny thing is, the comments on that news video was it discovered or created?
Yeah.
Because who knows now?
I think COVID was created.
I think so too.
There's a lot of people.
There's well, I think, and I guess it depends on who you ask and where they get their news, but I think the evidence is pretty clear that we funded that lab in China and created COVID. That whole thing that, there was entire, the screwed up part is we discovered the actual evidence that proves that certain people lied during Senate hearings, and still nothing happens to those people. That's the crazy part to me.
And everything was closed, and
they decimated the economy.
Like being a creator and having your job pretty much, like you going to theme parks and then being closed, I'm sure was very detrimental to your growing yourself. Like, was it like a year or two they were like closed or something, right? About
like 2021 they reopened. So like a year.
But like imagine like you're, and I'm sure other people, who were affected by this and weren't able to do their jobs because of it.
But it's not even people that couldn't do their jobs. It's like the people that were depressed that ended up freaking at home. Like, it's screwed up. But there were people that killed themselves.
I first lost a lot of weight, and then I started eating because I was stressed out financially. Financially.
Because this is your livelihood, right?
I was just eating and eating and eating, and I gained so much weight. And then
you should have just started remixing all your videos. That's the only thing I could think of. Or here's the other thing too: is like maybe keep some for a rainy day. You know what I mean?
Or like record extras. You know what I mean? Like,
well, what I film, it's really difficult to do that.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not like just filming vlogs. I'm also like talking about
your
progress.
Progress
on
any updates with the parks.
You can't do an update from last year and post it as a new video.
That's the unfortunate part. Like all my content has a shelf life.
Yeah. No, that's obviously that's a challenge. Like if I decided to, I could just not upload this podcast for another 3 months. But
speaking of your videos having a shelf life, how do you deal with that when obviously not that many things, like not many rides are going up, right? There's not that many new shows that are coming in. How do you figure out what to film, what to provide an update on? What do you think is really important?
Always thinking ahead, thinking of broadening my niche, which I've been wanting to do for a long time. And like I started to talk about other things now and not go to Universal as much, just so I can adapt my audience, get them used to seeing different things.
Right.
It's a very subtle change, but eventually, like, I'm probably only going to go to Universal once a month after all of this stuff is done.
Yeah.
There's not much going on at the park, but once that roller coaster is built, like, I'll start looking into other like local attractions. There's so many things to do in Hollywood. I mean, I did Project Minotaur, this insane escape room last night, and I want to talk about that.
Yeah. Have you heard of the basement or something like that? I think it's like it's an actually like scary, super immersive type of. You should look into it. I don't know if I do it, but like
that's local.
You have to. It's like maybe half an hour away from here.
Okay.
I think it's called the basement. They like tie you up. You have to crawl through tunnels. They lock you in. They separate you. They lock you in the dark. Like it's actually like a little crazy. They don't hurt you or anything, but just from what I've read, it's like definitely not your typical escape room. So you might want to look into, because I think that would be really cool idea and something that you can do a video on, because I know I'd be interested in like finding out more about it, because I don't know if I'd want to do that, right? So yeah, but there's definitely a lot of things in LA. Even if you go up to Northern California, there's like Carmel and things like that. They have like a little amusement park. I don't know if you've ever been, but that's a really cool experience. So yeah, there's a lot of things in San Francisco too, that I know when I used to go as a kid. So but there's definitely a lot of potential there, and I definitely see all the work that you're doing. It's just very interesting, and it's good to get that news, right? We don't get the chance to really find out. I would have never known that Universal was building a new ride until JP was like talking about it.
Yeah,
didn't even know.
Yeah.
I thought this was it. Like I would never think that they would be building a ride there, like in that little like area where all the escalators are.
Yeah,
I'm like, that was just like a mountain. And they're building this big old like roller coaster there,
Yeah, I mean, well, they got to maximize what space they have. That was quite the speech that you just gave.
Thank you. I'm a really good speech giver.
That was, yeah. So JP, I have a question for you. If somebody was just starting out and they're like, hey, I want to start a channel, I want to do whatever. This is not for me. This is just for somebody that might be watching. What's the advice that you would give them? The one piece of advice, if you can only give, because obviously there's a lot that you can talk about. There's a lot that you can recommend. But if you can give somebody one piece of advice and they're just starting out and they're like, hey, I want to go and start posting on YouTube. What's the one piece of advice?
Don't start an OnlyFans. No, I'm kidding.
That's a good piece of advice.
No, but a lot of people are doing that to be famous now.
Yeah, that's not the right way.
I hate oh. Anyways,
so you're not on OnlyFans?
No,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
If I was, I wouldn't even tell you. My parents are watching. No, just be yourself.
Yeah.
Be yourself. There's so many fake personas out there.
Yeah.
There's so many people trying to be something that they're not. And I think my audience loves me because I'm so upfront about everything. I'm just myself. People can tell if I'm not having a good day, or if I'm having a good day, like I have so much more energy in my videos. But just like keep at it. It's like, think of it this way. Like if you get 100 views, think of yourself talking in front of 100 people in a room with you. That's not a small number.
Yeah.
Or even like 1,000 views.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
Just keep at it, and eventually you're just gonna start picking up hitchhiker viewers. Like people will cling onto your content, they'll cling onto your personality, and that's as much advice as I could give you. And
no, that's great advice. That's great advice. I think I lost my train of thought.
Well, I can attest to what JP's saying, knowing him for so long and practically his entire life. I can attest to the fact that he is absolutely himself when I watch these videos. It's like just him talking to you, and just giving you these updates and like being a friend. And I like that because you don't get that a lot from these creators anymore.
Well, so this is what I was going to say is I've watched and I've realized and I've also heard there are some creators, and some of them are extremely big, that literally every video they create, every little moment of that video, everything they say is catered.
Yep.
Like tailored to the algorithm that they're trying to manipulate. So it's like they're not being themselves. They're just filming a video for
all
algorithm.
they care about is making money. And
it's
that's
like
what I try to do differently. Like I want to connect with my viewers. Like I try to make them feel heard. Like even though they're watching my videos and even though they're commenting, like I want to make sure like when they're watching these videos, I'm answering their comments with what
and like
I'm
taking
talking
suggestions and just like things like that. And you could tell he actually cares about his audience, Well,
and I think that's the most important thing. Like you're saying, like when you're filming a video, when you're talking, when you're doing whatever, you're gonna act like you think of it. Wow. Think of it like you're actually presenting this to these people. Like don't think of it as like think of it like a genuine conversation. Like this is something that you should want to do, not something that you're doing because you think you have to do for money. Like
and even if like right now like things are so slow, I'm not making that much, but what keeps me going right now is knowing that I'm helping people like that aren't able to go into theme parks right now, people that are disabled, people
and that's so important,
are just like mentally not there, or they lost a family member.
They look forward to those updates. Like I mean, honestly, like who knows, there's probably some poor kid somewhere that watches your videos every week, like thinking about like.
I wish I could go there, and I wish I could see it. At least I'm looking at it.
At least they can see it
exactly.
Yeah. Even if they can't experience it, they could see it. They get to see what it is.
I don't know. For me, since I love theme parks, it just makes me happy to see videos of theme parks. Like it almost makes me feel like a kid. So like it brings me joy that way. And I'm such a dork, but like.
Okay, so the funny thing is, like for me personally, like she'll force me to go to the parks every so often. I hate roller coasters. I do not like roller coasters at all. So
I don't like roller coasters either.
It's a little bit further than that.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a phobia.
He does. So, JP, he won't go on Pirates of the Caribbean with me. He won't.
Pirates?
He won't. He has once and never again.
Did it scare you?
Okay, so here's my thing.
What is it? The drop?
I don't like drops.
Okay.
Right? And she tells me there are no drops.
But like that,
okay, cool.
To me, that's not a drop.
Well, it's not a drop.
Okay, but if it was a little speed bump. But the thing is if I'm mentally prepared for something like that, it's fine. But if it catches me off guard, which that one did because she said there's no drop.
And I
You messed up.
I didn't know it was to that extent.
Yeah.
To me, that's not really a drop. It's
Yeah.
kind of just like a little speed bump. Like you
Yeah,
said.
so because I wasn't expecting it, it freaked me out, and I was like, okay, I'm not going on this thing.
I thought I was nearly going to lose him after the little second one. Like a little one after that one.
Well, and then
I
on
thought I
top
was
of that,
going to lose him at
on
that
top
point.
of that, she's like, okay, that was it. There was nothing else. And then the second one, and I'm looking at
Take
her
him
like,
on Guardians of the Galaxy.
He would not. I wish I could. I wish I could get him on that ride.
is that the
tower-
the
like
old
tower,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, there's no way. There's no way.
That ride scares me, but
Oh,
I
it's
can
so
do it.
fun.
I like the feeling.
No, but so what I was getting at was I will watch the videos of the different rides to kind of gauge whether or not I want to go on it.
Yeah.
Like, so, like, if there's like a ride that I've never been on, she's like, oh yeah, you'll like it, whatever. And I'm like, okay, hold on. Let me pull up a video. I want to see what this ride
Yep.
is before I actually go on it.
So when we went in September, he actually went on Indiana Jones for the first time ever.
Not bad, right?
That wasn't bad. The only thing that actually worried me was I thought I was going to lose my phone out the side. So I was kind of like, I had my hand on my phone the entire time. Cause like for whatever reason, I don't like, I don't know. They should probably have little doors or something, but I didn't like the fact that it's wide open.
Yeah. I think that just adds to the excitement, though.
It does, but like I'm saying, I was
like
worried
a-
that my phone was gonna get
It's like
pitched
a
out of my
genuine
pocket.
fear that you're gonna lose your phone.
Yeah,
I like
added
that.
a
Or
little
you're gonna be
something.
thrown out.
Oh, and I finally took him on Rise of the Resistance, and
I
he
love
was
that
like
ride.
in pure awe of that one.
Oh, I
It was
love
all,
that.
like-
That was amazing.
Yeah.
That drop catch you off guard, or
I told him about it. I told
Yeah,
him
that wasn't that
exactly
bad.
yeah, and he was like totally fine with that.
That
I'm
wasn't
like,
that bad.
that's how
I feel
Guardians
like,
feels.
Well,
but much bigger.
Well, like maybe 2 seconds.
Yeah.
okay, but see, that's the thing is because she warned me about it, I knew what to expect. But like, the production value on that ride was insane. Like the amount of money they spent and the amount of detail they put into that was like, I think everybody needs to experience that.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That was just insanity.
I'm just glad he liked it.
Yeah, no, it was great. What else did we go on?
Did you do the Mickey and Minnie's ride?
Yeah, we went on that one. Do you remember?
Yeah, that's a little violent.
A little bit. It
It's-
hurts a little bit.
Yeah,
but
it, like, snaps you back and forth,
I
like,
do
yeah.
like it. He also likes the other one. Smuggler's Run. Is that
Oh,
one?
I hate that.
Which one was that?
The one with the rocket, and like I keep telling everyone, like when we get there, I'm like, put him as captain because I know it makes him happy.
Oh, that one. Yeah. That one's all right. I wish they gave you a little more control.
I bet.
Like, because you know that you're not really controlling it. You know what I mean? Like it's you got maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
I say they removed that ride.
I feel like they
I
could
feel like
probably
that
do something
area could
more.
do better.
Yeah, exactly. They
I
could do
That
also-
ride
better.
only has like a 10-minute wait.
Yeah.
No matter how busy.
But I
it
also
is.
feel like they should have put more. Right? There's only 2 rides in there.
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
it. So like,
It's-
I
Is
don't.
it only 2?
Millennium
Yeah, it's such a
Falcon.
huge like expansion that they did, and then they only have 2 rides in there. Like,
I like how widespread it is.
yeah, but they could have added something else
Oh,
in
yeah,
there.
for
You
sure.
know.
Maybe they're still working on something else, and that's why we just haven't seen it.
Well, we'll find out from JP at some point, right?
Yeah.
you gotta climb the fence and let us know what's back there.
Maybe in 30 years.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see.
With Disney, it feels like they add
I know.
something every 30 years.
All right. Well, I don't
Cool.
know.
Well, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, it
awesome
was
to
so
have
fun.
you.
It was so
I was
fun.
gonna say I don't think we want
keep
to
going
take
with
any
your
more time.
updates. Love them. Thank you for providing us with all that information. It's really great to see. Yeah. Until next time.
Yeah, but we'll have you back once we hit 1 million on
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube. I think we only have like 999,988 to go.
I'll see you
To go.
in maybe 2 days.
Yeah, I mean it
Hopefully.
depends. If
Fingers
you get
crossed.
something viral enough, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously that can happen literally overnight. You just
I'll
never
just
know.
send everyone to you tonight.
That'd be cool. If I woke up to like even 100 followers tomorrow, I'd be like, okay, something's up. This is weird.
I think you'll get it.
Yeah, who knows? We'll see.
Once you start posting those reels.
Yeah. I also I feel like I'm being too lazy about it because I keep I'll post to TikTok and then I'll just use that same reel and same caption and same hashtags and just cross post to Instagram and stuff. I think I gotta cater each one to whatever. We'll figure it out.
Work in progress.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for coming in and until next time.
Thanks, JP.
All right.
Cool. Thank you.